Hey everyone, it's been a while. Today's video is going to be a little bit different in the fact that I won't actually be filming. I'm just going to be sitting in front of the webcam talking. As most of you know, I am pregnant, almost 13 weeks. I'm a couple days shy. But for us, it's so much more than just I'm pregnant. Sam and I went through a lot to get to this stage, so I just wanted to share our trying to conceive journey and then also what it's been like for me since, I found out I was pregnant. So I know that for some people that can be a trigger, so if you're just interested in the trying to conceive part, the last half of the video will be me talking about, my symptoms and whatnot. So Sam had a vasectomy after his youngest daughter was born, so 15 years prior. And I didn't really know the statistics or how successful reversals were, but I did know that it was possible to have them reversed. So we had our initial consultation in 2010, and after saving up enough money, I called in February of 2011, and they had an 8-month wait. And if you know me, you know that I'm really impatient, and time flies, but that was the longest 8 months of my life. So Sam had what was called a VV, and only one side was repairable. So the odds of me getting pregnant were very, very slim. He would most likely have return of sperm, but pregnancy was a whole different story. I should mention that my cycles were completely normal before the VR. I had been off birth control when I met my husband, so for a couple years they were like my cycles were anywhere between 27 and 30 days. And the month of the VR, my cycle stopped coming. So that was really devastating because obviously if you're not getting regular periods, you're not ovulating. I would go anywhere between like 13 and 67 days. So I went to the doctor and all my blood work came back fine. My levels were great. Everything was perfect. They couldn't give me a reason why my cycles had become so irregular. The three most important things about a sperm analysis are morphology, how do they look? Are their heads deformed? Do they have two tails? Stuff like that. The second is motility. Are they progressing forward? And the third, obviously, is count. So Sam had his first sperm analysis, which I'll just call SA, 7 months post VR. And he had 67% motility, which is awesome. Anything above 50 is great. But his total motile count was only 6 million, which doctors like to see 20 million for natural pregnancy to happen. And obviously that was, way lower than what we had hoped for. He had his second SA done a year post VR, and his motility was the same at 67%, but his total motile count had gone up to 15 million. So that was really good. He was taking vitamins. I did a little bit of research, and he was taking vitamin C, vitamin E, and zinc. So I was, we were obviously ecstatic with the improvement in total sperm count. Doctors usually tell you to try and conceive for 6 to 12 months before seeking help. Our doctor actually just recommended 6 months, and if nothing was happening by then, it was good to get a second opinion. So at this point, it had already been a year. My cycles were still all over the place. We did have a low sperm count, and obviously those two things were not in our favor. So we did go see an RE, which is a specialist in infertility, and we had decided to do IVF because we were told by my doctor. I actually saw 2 different gynos, and my husband saw 2 urologists, and all 4 doctors recommended IVF as being our best shot at having a biological child together. So we met with the IVF clinic, and this was in the beginning of June. And I went in and had blood work drawn. Sam and I would both have to have, multiple testing, done before, you know, we could move forward, and the plan was to do IVF in August. So in the beginning of June, I went in and had blood work done, and they told me that I had ovulated and I should be getting my period soon. So, you know, we just wait. They said it should be within a couple days. Well, 7 days went by, you know, and nothing. You know, no period, no nothing. So I called, and, you know, they wanted me to take this medicine to jumpstart things. And I really wasn't comfortable with it. I don't take medication unless it's absolutely necessary, and I thought, you know, if I ovulated and they said that I'm going to get it, then, you know, I just don't think that I should take it. And, you know, my husband agreed. He said, why don't you wait another week and call them, you know, if you still haven't gotten your period, and, you know, go from there. So a week went by, and I called the clinic, and I said, you know, no sign of my period anywhere. So they brought me back in for more blood work. And the nurse said to me, well, maybe it's because you're pregnant, you know, all like cheery and chipper and whatever. And I was like, that's the biggest joke ever. You know, I was just so worn out at this point. I mean, it really does take a toll. It takes a toll on you, you know, it's something that you want so badly, and you just can't help blame yourself for it not happening. And so, you know, I got snippy with the nurse, and, you know, she said, okay, we'll call you. They were doing the labs in-house, and she said that she would call me later on that day to let me know what the results were. So I'm at work. I went in at 8 o'clock that morning before work, and at about 11:30 that morning, she called me, and she said, you know, the reason you haven't gotten your period is because you're pregnant. And my vision went pinhole. I could not believe what she was saying to me. I had to sit down, and, you know, it was just so emotional. I like start rambling on to this nurse who I don't know. I'm like, you know, I felt funny, you know, a couple mornings ago I had like really bad anxiety, and I just thought that was really weird, but it went away. And, you know, I'm just like going on, and I'm crying hysterically, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to go and call my husband. So I called Sam, and he was out. I really didn't want to tell him over the phone, but, you know, it was so early in the day, I wasn't going to be home until 5 o'clock, you know, that I just was so shocked. You know, I just never thought that I would have to tell him that I was pregnant, let alone, like, do it over the phone. So, I mean, it was just the happiest, most unexpected news either one of us could have imagined, you know, to get that day. And in my blurred mind, you know, I at least remembered to ask the nurse, you know, what my beta levels were, and she said 2,500, and that is beta measures the amount of HCG in your bloodstream, and that is extremely high. I mean, like, you know, for being on such so early in the pregnancy, I was like, oh my God, 2,500, you know, that is just crazy. So a couple days later, I went in for more blood work so that they could make sure that my levels were doubling. And my second beta came back at 12,400. So they had definitely doubled. And at that point, they scheduled us for an ultrasound, and we went in. And I was measuring at 6 weeks, 3 days pregnant. And baby was just like a little grain of rice on the ultrasound, but you could see the flicker of the heartbeat, and it was just amazing. The heart rate was 102 beats per minute, which they like to see anything over 100 that early. So, you know, that was just all that we could hope for, and, you know, it was just so amazing to see that flicker of life on the screen. You know, it had been 20 months since the VR, you know, almost 2 years, and, you know, you think that it will never happen, you know, because your heart wants it so bad, and for it to happen when it did, you know, I mean, what if I had taken that medicine to bring on my period? You know, it's like, what if, you know, I mean, talk about waiting until the 11th hour. We were going in to do IVF, and I'm pregnant, and we don't have to. And I mean, it was just the biggest blessing ever, like the biggest miracle in life that I've ever experienced. So at that point, the RE released me to a regular OBGYN, and we saw the baby at 8 weeks on an ultrasound again, and this time we got to hear the heartbeat, and that was just there's just no describing it. I mean, we were just so happy and so grateful, and you know, the heartbeat the heart rate measured at 137 beats per minute, so that was really good. And you know, I first off, you know, thank you to my parents, because they did know that, you know, we were going to do IVF, and you know, had helped us to get there. And the way that my mom reacted when you know, of course I had to tell her right away, you know, I couldn't keep something like that, and the way that she reacted was just priceless. I mean, you know, to be able to tell my mom, you know, I'm pregnant, you know, when she was like expecting me to do IVF, was just a really, really cool thing to do. I had dreamed up of all of these, you know, different ways that I would tell her when I was pregnant, and, you know, because no one in our family knew that we were trying to conceive. So I just wanted her to be shocked and thrilled, and she was, in a sense, she was shocked and thrilled. So I got really lucky in the sense that I didn't suffer from any morning sickness. I had small bouts of nausea here and there, but nothing that didn't go away after I ate something. I know that some women hug the toilet until like 14 weeks, but really the only thing that really got me down was the fatigue. I was so unbelievably tired. I would come home, I would not want to do anything. After working, I would just get in bed at 7, and I would be sleeping by 7:30, and I wouldn't wake up until 7 o'clock the next day, which is really, really unusual. I'm up between 5 and 5:30 every morning. I work out every morning. Well, I walk every morning. So, you know, this was just totally out of character for me, and I'm not gonna lie, I mean, who doesn't enjoy sleeping, you know, sleeping in the morning? But it was just really strange for me. I'm very much about having a schedule and sticking to it, and so that was that. And another thing is I don't eat meat. I love fruits and I love vegetables, and you know, I'm a very clean eater. But since becoming pregnant, I have not been able to eat any of that. I've had really bad food aversions. Vegetables taste really bitter, and fruits just are too acidic in a way for me, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it, but all I've really eaten is, you know, stuff that's not very good for me. And I hadn't had meat in 2 years, and now I have meat every day. So it's just very strange. Being pregnant is unlike anything, obviously, that I've ever experienced in my life. So I'm just kind of taking it all in and enjoying it, because I know that, you know, this will most likely be my only pregnancy. So it's just really been quite a journey. So we just got to see baby again at 12 weeks, and the heart rate was 170 beats per minute, and we got profile shots, and we got little hand shots and leg shots and kicking and punching all over the place. Of course, I can't feel anything yet, but it was just so cool to see, and it was kind of funny, you know, to see the baby kicking and punching and, you know, going in circles on the ultrasound. We don't get to go back again until 20 weeks because we're opting not to find out the gender. I just think that you know, everybody finds out what they're having, and, you know, gender reveals are the big thing, and that's just totally not me. It is a little bit surprising to my husband that you know, I don't want to find out the sex of the baby, but I really truly have no desire. I will just be so happy either way. So it sucks that we won't get to see baby again until October, but you know, we can't wait until the next appointment. So I do have a little bit of a bump. I'm gonna go in front of like a white wall so that you can see it, and I will hopefully be doing regular vlogs. I don't know about it on a weekly basis, but you know, I mean, definitely touching base about how things are going. Okay, so here is my bump at week 13. You can see it's starting to get there. So I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing about our journey, and I look forward to updating you regularly. Bye.